Can I have water, Joe?
And welcome back to Wind Against Tide, the 60th Melbourne Boat Show. We are back recording.
Day 2, Joey. Day 2.
Day number 2. And we've had another special guest pop in. This fellow I'm about to introduce, I've known him for 12 years. One of my dearest fishing friends. And he's got boats. He's a great fisherman. And in the studio, we got Sean Hildyard.
Oh, stop it, Joey. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Shawnee, thanks for coming in. This is a bonus extra special recording we're putting on. It wasn't planned, but Joe's like, I've got to talk to Shu because I've got some really important content I want to share with the world. So take it away, Joey.
Yep. Shawnee, I want to know about your boat. You got a boat?
I have a boat, yes. It's a 22 sailfish walk around that I imported from the States. And it's been unbelievable, I must say.
So that's basically like a striper, is it?
Yeah, it's that same sort of style, different brand, but yeah, very similar to the stripers and the trophies and that sort of thing.
Beautiful.
And where did you actually source this boat from in America? Do you know like what part of America it came from?
Yeah,
and talk us through the process of how it went about selecting the boat and actually bringing it over to Melbourne.
Yeah, I chatted to a few people that had done it before me, obviously. That's what got me interested in it because at the time I had looked at all the Australian boats and it was just kind of out of my price range pretty much. And Marty L actually had the same boat as me and chatted to him and decided to do it. And I basically just researched for months and months on the internet, just different boat brands and that sort of thing. And stumbled across the sailfish and found one at a good price at a dealer in Baltimore, I think, somewhere there.
So you're actually selecting the boat from a vast catalog online.
Yeah, well, it's a secondhand boat sales kind of thing, you know. And obviously you get an inspection done, third party, and make sure that it's all good and it's ready to go. And basically you go through an agent that then helps you with the whole importing process of the boat.
Yeah, and you were comfortable with just selecting a boat out of an online catalog?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's the same as if you're doing it here, but you just don't get to see the boat in person. But you get all the information up front, and as I said, third-party inspector goes and inspects the boat and makes sure that it is what you're seeing, you know.
Yeah, lovely. And that gets packed up in a shipping container.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a shipping container, but they basically, I've got a new trailer with it as well that came with the boat, so they measured that up to fit, and they basically just shrink wrap the boat and I think just put it on a ship. I don't even think it goes inside of a container or anything like that.
Okay, so what are the key tips for actually importing a boat from the States? Do you get a trailer or do you get the trailer here?
Yeah, because I think it's quite appealing to a lot of people, but then it's just like, oh, there must be a lot of stuffing around involved.
Yeah, look, one of the key tips is you wait for the Australian dollar to strengthen against the American dollar. That's a big one. But you know what? With regards to the trailer, one thing I would say is I would probably never buy a trailer from the States again.
Yes, I've heard this.
Yeah, the trailer was a nightmare. It was a brand new trailer, but they just don't build them like they do here.
Not the drive on, drive off style trailers.
Yeah, no, it was drive on, drive off, but it just wasn't up to the Australian roads, the rough roads.
Yeah, like on your last trip, Joe was saying the calipers fell off.
Yeah. We've had a few dramas with our trailer. So I mean, if I had my time over, I would definitely have got an Australian built custom trailer for these conditions.
Yeah.
So that's a tip. Get a trailer from Australia.
Yeah, definitely.
What about a motor? Do you get the motor fitted there or here?
Yeah, well, the boat came with a Yamaha F200, which is it's a beautiful motor. I can't fault the motor. So, you know, that's a worldwide thing. Everyone knows Yamaha motors and you know what you're buying. So I just pretty much took the motor that came with the boat.
And I got to ask you, you've got a significant electronics upgrade that's currently in the process. Tell everybody who's listening a bit about what you're upgrading to.
Yeah, look, I'm lucky enough to have a few friends with some really nice boats. And he just upgraded his electronics package on one of his yachts. So I just said to him, well, instead of throwing all the old stuff away, please send it my way.
So what kind of old crappy stuff was your friend disposing of from his yacht?
It's Simrad gear. So we're getting a Simrad radar mixed with a few Simrad Evos and a few screens to go with it, all for free. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm not going to let it go to waste, and I'll I'll retrofit it into my boat. So we're busy doing that at the moment.
How big's the screen on the Simrad system?
15-inch.
15.
Yeah, it's a serious screen.
Ah,
So they make a 15?
I thought they were 12 to 16.
Yeah, it's one of the
It's a
actual
US model.
Yeah, no, it's one of their monitors. So it's actually like
it's a display.
Yeah, basically. So it's a display, and then the I suppose the computer, the brains of it, sits behind the.
Yeah, it's like a remote
console.
system. Okay.
Pretty much, it's basically just a display. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what about warranty on your motor? Because a lot of people are probably concerned about that as well. Obviously, no warranty.
Yeah, the boat was a 2016,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure actually what the warranty is on the Yamaha motors, how long it goes for, but it's not something I really considered when I bought it.
Well, safe to say it's not valid once you bring it into Australia.
I think in this day and age, a lot of people are buying new outboards because they want that extra warranty. Because it normally is around 6 years for new outboards, and that's what they're making their decision on.
Yeah, well, I looked at the hours. The motor had only done, I think, 400 hours when I got it. So it's not like it's. I mean, I know those motors, most 4-strokes motors, are good for a few thousand.
A lot of people would freak out at 400.
Yeah, no, I know. But look, I mean, it was always my intention to bring the hull in, and if I did need a new motor at some point, put it on. But it's been rock solid.
So what was the total cost? It was 60 something, wasn't it?
No, I think with the trailer imported. Landed in Australia, I think it came to 77.
Okay, so you're well ahead there. To buy equivalent in Australia would be 150-ish.
And this is a 6 meter boat, is it?
No, it's a 7-meter boat.
7, wow.
Yeah,
It's a lot of boats for your dollars.
66K for
77.
for a 77 for a 7 meter boat.
Yeah. No, look. I mean, it really worked out well.
Why would you buy a boat at a boat show?
Well, that's what we've been saying. No, look, I mean, obviously, things are getting more expensive now, so I don't think you could probably land a boat much now, but it really worked out for me, so now I'm happy.
And just to reference, hyperinflation and everything, what year did you undertake this purchase?
I think the boat's about 3 years old now. Well, I've had it for 3 years, so about 3 years ago.
Yep.
The dollar was still, decently strong, and boats weren't crazy expensive. And obviously, being in the US, secondhand boats are a dime a dozen, so they don't sell for heaps. So managed to pick up a really good deal.
Yeah, and it's also kitted out quite well. Like you've got, just correct me if I'm wrong, you've got deck wash.
Yeah. No, look, I mean,
deck wash, live bait tank,
Yeah,
like it's got all the bells and whistles.
Look, one thing about the American boats is it does come with heaps of stuff. Like it's really sort of family friendly, but mainly fishing orientated. It's got freshwater wash down, deck wash, all the live bait tanks, huge cabin for overnighting. Not that I do much of that, but they come really well kitted, and that was the other thing, is why I wanted this boat.
So if you were to do this process again today, what would you be left out of pocket?
Less?
How much money?
More?
No, if he was to do this again, he's saying 77,000 for a 7 meter boat. How much do you reckon it would cost you today?
I reckon close to 100, probably even more.
So even 100's a good value for a 7 meter boat.
Yeah.
Fiberglass.
Look, I mean, obviously the boat's secondhand. It's not a brand new boat. So, I mean, I think brand new, I did see them online somewhere, and they're about 129 American.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So things have gone a lot more expensive over in the States as well. So look, I managed to get a really good deal, but in saying that, there are good deals to still be had, I think, with certain American boats.
What's the dead rise on that boat, Sean?
It's 20. So it's a variable dead rise hull. So they actually step the hull. So you kind of, well, what they say is you get the best of both worlds. I don't think it quite works out like that, but it's a 24-degree dead rise. So it's a serious.
That's serious. That's my Aidencraft is 22 and a half.
Yep.
I think my old gunshot was 24.
Mm.
So it's a deep boat.
It's a serious offshore boat. But
it wasn't an anchor boat, that's for sure.
No, how is the stability?
No, look, I think going into a head-on sea, dead-on it's unbelievable. It's brilliant, but it does get a little bit tender. I've got to be honest. You've really got to work your trim tabs with a boat like that, which a lot of people are not familiar with. But you do have to use your trim tabs, and I think on a side-on sea is probably the worst for that kind of a boat, being such a deep V.
Yeah. What's the biggest fish you've caught out of your boat, Sean? Let's get on to the fishing. We
no.
want to
Let's
know.
Now, this is a bit controversial because you released a couple, and Joey's throwing some big numbers around here. So
You know what? Sean's not a well-known fisherman because he doesn't go regularly. He's got a busy life, but his hit rate is one of the best I've ever known.
he's got a good ratio.
Look,
It's about one to two.
I'll use his words. He tells me he rarely blanks.
Look,
I rarely think, Joe.
I have got a good hit rate, but I think I have lucky fishermen on the boat. I must be honest. Like all the guys that I take seem to be lucky. I mean, first time marlin fishing, they get a marlin. First time barrel fishing, they get a barrel. It's like it's too good to be true almost. I don't want to jinx it.
We've locked Joe up enough for you.
I just want to ask, could you quickly tell the story when you went marlin fishing during the middle of lockdowns?
Yeah. I think it was just after we had come out of one of the lockdowns and we were allowed out of jail. We were allowed out of jail, and we went up to Jarvis Bay.
You towed the boat to Jarvis Bay.
Towed the boat to Jarvis Bay. Was there for like 3 days, and then had to rush back because our premier decided to close the borders.
You should have stayed. You should have stayed.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, we went out. Took my brother-in-law Chris, who loves fishing, but he's just likes to come whenever he gets invited, and put him onto his first marlin first trip, which was pretty epic for him, But he just thinks that that's how fishing is. He doesn't realize how many hours you've got to put into, dedicating hours into catching marlin. But he got it on his first trip. So
yeah, but who cares? It's a 7-meter boat. I want to hear about the giant 130-kilo bluefin in the 4-meter half cab. What was that? I think a bellboy or something.
Oh, that was
It was a little pride, a little pride.
Kipper.
It was, man, I tell you, that boat was a lucky boat.
So Sean's old boats, you run in the mill half cab thing. You see out on Port Phillip during summer. And Sean turned that thing into a game fishing machine. And I remember this particular occasion, hot giant tuna bite at Port MacDonald, and up rolls Sean amongst the fleet of giant game boats, $200,000 game boats, in his $15,000 half cab.
Well, I think it was actually $4,500.
It's probably appreciated by now.
60 Yamaha on it.
2-banger Yamaha, gunnel's about a foot high, loaded with Tiagras, plastic rod holders, and out he went. And do you want to tell us about how that trip went down, Sean?
That was actually a very accurate description of what it was. Plastic rod holders. Now, look, we did some things in that boat that boat wasn't really designed to do. Let's just be honest. But anyway, we picked our days, and I always sort of would go when I knew, you guys would be out and friends would be out, just in case things turned bad. But
we wouldn't have saved you.
No, probably not. Joey would have sent you in a different direction.
Sean's sinking 20K west.
Yeah.
But we that was actually my first barrel trip, and we headed out there, and thank goodness for Dave and Winger, because they did point us in the right direction. I have to give you guys some credit for that. You did say, listen, boys, this is kind of where the action is.
That was a bum steer. That was just luck.
Oh, it was just luck, yeah. Anyway, headed over there, and we're one of the first boats on just this mega eruption. And I'll never forget, that's the first time I pretty much heard a Tiagra scream like that. And we hooked up to a massive bluefin.
You're fishing with your Uncle Gopher. Yeah. And he was asleep in the cabin when that Tiagra screamed. Tell us a bit about what happened then.
Yeah, look, he that was his first barrel trip. He comes from a fly fishing background, and anyway, I screamed at him, clear the rods. He didn't really know what I meant, but so I just started clearing rods, and then I said, okay, we'll just put the harness on. And comes out of the cabin with the harness on backwards. So anyway,
that's hilarious.
I'm like literally, holding on to 12 kilos of drag. Eventually, I had to just lean the rod against the gunnel, because you all know what 12 kilos feels like when you've had it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, got him harnessed up, and he fought his first barrel for about 3.5 hours.
And you released it, credit to you.
Yeah, we released it. I mean, we didn't, really
probably because it would have flipped the boat pulling it in.
Yeah. Yeah, look, we brought it boat side, and it just looked so beautiful. And we thought, can't be stuffed cleaning it at the boat ramp for 3 hours. So
that's the attitude.
Yeah, we'll let him go. And that was the start of, I suppose, the addiction of big tuna fishing. You you all know what it's like, your first barrel.
Well, I heard that Gopher back at the ramp was strutting around and giving some advice to some pretty seasoned anglers.
Oh yeah, they were asking questions. He was spewing it out like he knew exactly what was going on.
So that morning he'd been strapping a harness on backwards. That afternoon, big tuna expert.
Big tuna expert.
My sick tail.
Bloody awesome.
What else you got, Joe? Are we wrapping this one up because we've got AT coming on in an hour.
We will. Sean, thanks very much for coming on.
No worries,
Appreciate
boys.
it, man.
Nice
and
to see you again.
we'll see you on the water. I can't wait to
That's
get back out in that sailfish with you.
Excellent. We'll see you then.
Yeah, thanks, Shawnee.
Thanks very much.
Guys.
ET up next, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.